Brian, this is episode 180, and this is your third time being here, which puts you in a very small group of 6 people so far who have recorded 3+ episodes. Actually, no one's recorded more than 3. So you're at the maximum anyone's ever recorded already. So hi.
Hi. And boy, do I appreciate being here again, Dean.
Thank you. Nice to see you. Okay, Brian, so tell folks a little bit about you again, and then I have some new hypothetical situations I want to drop you into the deep end of.
Absolutely. So I'm Brian Talbot. I am a fractional CMO. My company is thevaluecmo.com. And I've been playing this game since about 2016. I decided I was done with all the silly games that come with the average corporate job. And I just wanted to provide highest and best value to SMBs where I could really make a difference. So I honed in on the $2 to $20 million range companies and provide full range fractional CMO work.
Okay, Brian, so thank you. Here's our hypothetical. Okay, most of all of our work these days, and I'm not a fractional CMO, but most of all of our work is virtual.
Yep.
But imagine that today's day one of a brand new client. They're only 5 minutes from your home. So you're actually going to walk into a place. Imagine that, right? It's like it's 2008 or something. You're going to walk into the place and start work on day one. What's a dream scenario to walk into as a fractional CMO on day one? And what's the nightmare scenario?
Absolutely. So this is easy for me because this is what I do, right? My dream scenario is I walk into a conference room with a lot of whiteboards and a stakeholder team from the company. And that's really critical because your stakeholder team sets the stage. You get buy-in and alignment through your stakeholder team. And so that's the best opportunity. I go over my frameworks of the market, the message, and the map. And then we start to kick off the engagement from there. My nightmare scenario is no one's around, no one cares, and everyone looks at me and goes, "You're the marketing guy, just go do marketing." And I want to see results.
Not great. Yeah.
They leave you hanging out to dry.
Yeah. Marc, hi. Welcome. First time.
Hello. Hey, thank you, Dean. It's always great to be the first timer.
Absolutely. Tell folks a little bit about you, and then what's your dream or nightmare scenario walking into a client on day one?
Well, again, my name is Marc Heffner. I am a fractional CMO. I work in the dental vertical space or medical space, work with organizations. And really, my dream organization I walk into is a little bit along what Brian said. It's really walking in an organization, recognizing they need executive guidance in the marketing C-suite. And they're willing to sit down and talk about what the strategies are that they want and they need, right, and what is going on with their business. They open up the kimono, they let me know what's going on. I'm able to look at the financials of the business. I'm able to understand what's gone on with the marketing in the past. Have they had a marketing department before? What are they doing and where they're going? My nightmare scenario is they hire me on board. No one is really on board with what's going on. They just think they need marketing and they're not ready for the next movement. They don't have all the other pieces in place to make the move in marketing, because you can spend a boatload of money in marketing, but if you don't have the right people answering the phones, you don't have the right people knowing how to book appointments, you don't have the right people in place to take care of anything, you can spend thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars that goes nowhere. You just spun your wheels and just wasted your time. And that's the worst thing that can happen for any organization. So you got to be ready to start marketing, and you got to understand, also be willing to buy it in and say, hey, stuff I'm going to do today, I'm not going to get paid on today. Marketing is like a snowball. Once you start that wheel going, it starts to build upon itself. One thing after another, it just keeps growing. Once you pull that plug, it deflates like a balloon and takes forever to get that thing moving again.
Yep.
So it's
okay.
Once you're into it, you're into it.
So the Marc, that's day one. Let's skip ahead to day 90. Okay. And you're having a chat with the CEO, and the CEO says, "Look, I wasn't quite sure when we started how this was going to go, but my aha moment after hiring you was what?"
My aha moment after we hired you is once you were able to understand, you knew what was going on with my business from day one. You got my clients, you got my patients on my end, You understand what's going on, and you made a connection, and you became a part of the team. And you're able to talk with everybody, and you're able to break the silos of different parts of the organization, because marketing does not happen in a vacuum. Right. Marketing happens across the organization. And when the CEO recognizes you knew how to talk with the rest of my team, you got the rest of my organization involved in the marketing, we actually moved from a sales operation to a marketing operation and changed the whole paradigm of the organization and the thought process.
Brian, how about you? What do you think is sort of the typical aha moment a company has after a few months of having a CMO or a fractional CMO?
Yeah, for my clients, that's pretty easy. They have a clear understanding of their market. They have a targeted message that resonates, and they have a strategic roadmap that helps everyone understand the goals, the strategies, and the execution, as well as the resources needed to be able to do all that, to be able to reach the goals, including ownership, priority, and timelines and budgets.
Okay, so Brian, let's switch hypotheticals.
Sure.
And you're on stage, keynote speaker. Mm-hmm. There's 250 people in the audience. They all came out of corporate, and every one of them became a fractional CMO yesterday. Brand new.
Okay.
So I'll start off. We'll go back and forth with Marc as well. But I'll start off with a sentence, and then you finish the sentence however long it takes you to complete it, okay? So you're looking at these guys, and you're saying, look, I'm just going to be real with you. Fractional CMOs, just starting out. The thing you're going to be most shocked by is what?
The thing you're going to be most shocked by is the fact that people want results today. They want immediate results, and they don't understand that marketing is a marathon, not a sprint. And so they hire you to do all their marketing and get them results immediately.
Right. And Marc, what do you think? What's a fractional CMO starting out today going to be shocked by first?
What's going to be shocked by first is the lack of understanding of the importance of marketing within the organization.
Yeah.
They may have grown from an entrepreneurial standpoint and done everything from a shotgun approach. Take everything, throw it against the wall, and see what works. In marketing, we use a rifle approach. We line up our target. We want to make sure we have the funding in place, and we take our shot. And our shot is generally right on target. If not, it's slightly off, and we adjust and we move forward. That is the essence of marketing. We become more efficient with the dollars that are spent for customer acquisition. That's the biggest thing. And also in selling products, become a lot more focused on that, not trying to take everything else that's going on.
And then, so Marc, let's finish. We're talking to our audience. Let's finish this thought, like second of three, right? What you're going to find, folks, is that many clients just don't understand what?
Many clients just don't understand the time it takes to get from point A to point B in marketing. It takes us more than 30 days to see some results. It takes us 90 days, and then there's results to start to come in. Like Brian said, we're in a marathon. We're not in a sprint. It takes time for us to get there, and once it's rolling, it rolls, and it just builds and builds and builds. Been a part of that many times in my career, from ground level to 3 years in, we're so much further ahead, and it's making the investment and making it happen over time.
And Brian, you're talking to these folks. They're looking to you as the expert, right? You need to put some cold water on it and say, like, most of your clients are not going to understand what?
The difference between sales and marketing. They a lot of them don't even understand there is a difference. They think sales is marketing and marketing is sales. And so, sales, marketing brings the horse to water and sales makes them drink.
All right. And then, Brian, so like some intern is trying to like wave you off, right? Like, we're out of time. Get off. Music's coming up. It's like the Oscars, right? Big hook comes out, tries to pull you off stage, and you're just like, no, I got one more thing to say to these people. If I can only give you one piece of advice about getting clients, it's this. What would it be?
The fractional CMO needs to be a part of your executive leadership team. If you talk with a client and they see you as an outsourced resource, and not part of their executive leadership, run.
And Mark, how about you? The one thing you want to make sure these people understand about getting clients is what?
Yeah, Brian's right. They need to recognize you're part of the executive team. You got to have a buy-in to the strategy before you can execute it. If you don't have that buy-in to the strategy, the rest of it's a waste of time. And it's also strategy first before doing. You'll see a lot of these younger consultants out there want to do.
Right.
And it's always like, why? What's the why? Marketing is the why. What makes us different? What differentiates your product and service from the guy down the street, for the company in the other country? What makes you different? And having that why and understanding that and being able to communicate that effectively with your clients and with their customers is the most important piece of marketing, so they buy in and you start to see growth in sales, growth in revenue, and growth in profitability.
Yeah. So now the next hypothetical, you're done with speech, you go out onto, it's a big conference, so you go out into the conference floor, and there's booths and stuff, and you're talking to prospective clients. So let's spend some time thinking about the prospective clients. So Mark, the thing about marketing is most people think they understand a lot about marketing. Maybe they do, but you're talking to prospects all the time. When it comes to marketing, what do prospects overrate and what do they underrate? What do you think? Like, boy, people should really pay more attention to this. Like, they'd be better off in the long run. Or I'm really sick of hearing about X tool or platform or concept or idea or something when I talk to prospects. So what's overrated? What's underrated these days?
You know, what's overrated today is, believe it or not, digital marketing. Doing advertising on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and they forget that marketing is everything that goes on. So marketing is a holistic approach. So you have not just digital media, you also you want to get top of mind awareness. So your top of mind awareness, otherwise known as TOMA, is how do you get those eyes on everything? So you got to be where your client or where your customer is. So are they on TV? Are they on their computer systems? Are they driving by billboards? Do they open up their mail? You know, what are all the ways you communicate that idea? And you've got to be every place with them to get that attention.
How about you? What do customers overrate or underrate these days?
Well, especially today, I think so many customers are overrating AI as a replacement for needing a marketer. The reality is people buy based on emotional connections and relationships. And so that becomes the essential part of it. Well, you use your storytelling to build and your authenticity to build your brand and build your stories that connect with your customers. And AI, it's getting a lot better, but it's not there. It doesn't have the ability to make that direct human connection.
And what's underrated?
What's the most underrated? I think having a strategy. People think, well, just buy Google ads and watch the money roll in. It's not a quarter in, a dollar out game, right? You have to have a strategy that ties everything together. Otherwise, you're just throwing a bunch of spaghetti at the wall. Yeah.
All right. So as you're Brian, as you're talking to prospective clients, like what's sort of like a red flag and what's a green flag for whether you think someone's going to become like a good client or a good match?
Yeah, the red flags are the people who are telling me what they want me to do as their marketing resource. And the green flags are the people who are interested in collaborating and actively participating. Those are the ones who understand that marketing is an all skate, right? It's not a one-off event, or it's not one person's complete responsibility. It's not a siloed activity. So those are the differences in my view.
And Mark, how about you? What's like a red flag and a green flag when you're talking to a prospect?
A red flag is someone who doesn't understand what the costs are. They're not willing to go in and spend the money. They hired you and they expect everything to kind of happen. That's the red flag. Not having the right budget allocation of the money to do it. The green flag is as Brian said, marketing is a team sport. Having everybody involved in the decision making, having everybody buy into the strategy is the most important part. Once you have buy-in to that piece, that makes it really easy. So it's just, I bolt when I see a red flag. It's like, oh, you're not ready for me. You're not ready for marketing. You're not ready to make this commitment. The green flag is they understand the strategy. They understand that it's collaborative. They understand it's teamwork that gets us to the next level. It's an amazing thing when that happens, when the teamwork comes together. Right. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's what can happen. It's just incredibly fun. It makes my job exciting. That's what I love about marketing is that piece of it. And then taking the concept from baby to this full-blown adult running on its own, and that's what I love about it.
So we're going to stay in this scenario for the last question. You guys happen to meet each other on the floor, and you end up just, getting a cup of coffee in line. You don't know anything about each other other than that each of you is a fractional CMO. And so you each going to ask each other a question. Just finish the one that I'm giving you. So Brian, you turn to Mark and say, hey, since I got you here, let me ask you this. Go.
What are the systems and frameworks that you use so that you can be repeatable from client to client? And what works best for you?
No one's ever asked that.
What are the repeatable frameworks that I use? So that's a really good question. So the repeatable frameworks are coming in and asking what they've done in the past, what has worked, what hasn't worked, and why do they need me now? And then developing that strategy around them and understanding their business and pulling that together. It's always coming back to why now? Why wasn't it 2 years ago? Why not 2 years from now? What's changed in your business? Those are the most important things to understand, because they didn't call you up or say yes because they finally, want to spend more money. They're expecting results. So what's changed with their business? Something dynamically has changed fundamentally. Why and what is that? And then repeat that, develop everything around that. That's what's repeatable. And no two organizations are the same. That's the great thing. So I'm sure Brian has a whole bunch of stuff he's done in the past. It's like I've had a whole bunch of stuff, and what I've done in company A is not always going to work with company B. Mm-hmm. But marketing is marketing. The fundamentals of marketing haven't changed. We learned those a long time ago. Product, place, price, and promotion. I always come back to the 4 Ps of marketing. If I'm able to go back to that, I'm able to answer all of my questions, and I'm able to make everything work. I come back to TOMA, top of mind awareness. Bringing that in and having that strategy and that philosophy will help drive revenue and grow businesses.
And Mark, how about you for Brian? Since I got you here, let me ask you this.
Hey, that's really good. This happens all the time, believe it or not. I come across other marketing people. I always want to pick their brain. I'm like going, so Brian, what has changed in marketing in the last 10 years? And let's put aside AI, but what has changed and what hasn't changed? What are you doing different today than you weren't doing 10 years ago?
Really the emphasis on strategy has changed. I think you used to be able to be successful by executing a lot. And now it's really hard to make that work without having an underlying strategy. And so, take the time to put the strategy in place. I like to refer to the 80-20 rule. And if you don't spend 20% of your time up front getting that strategy in place, then the 80% of the time that you spend working on the rest of it is going to kind of go to waste. So make sure you get a good, solid strategy, and that becomes your roadmap for the next year or 2 or 3. So invest in your strategy.
All right, guys, this has been fantastic. Thanks, both of you, for being here. Brian, these days, who should be reaching out to you, and what's the best way to get to you?
These days, businesses between 2 and 20 million, SMBs, and even more importantly, mid-level marketers who are marketing managers, marketing directors who feel stuck, because I'm now sharing my frameworks and my processes through online courses. So reach out to me at thevaluecmo.com, and I'm always happy to start the conversation.
All right, good stuff. And Marc, how about you? Who should be reaching out to you these days, and what's the best way to connect with you?
Anybody who recognizes they need executive guidance in the marketing C-suite and have the financial means to bring us on board and want to spend the time and the strategy and the time and help us put the strategy to get there. So that'd be almost anybody within the organizations. And the best way to get a hold of me is 3 places, either at newparadigm.com, DSO Marketing X, or you can always find me on LinkedIn at Marc Heffner on LinkedIn. MarcHeffner.
All right. Guys, thanks both of you for being here. It's been fantastic. Thanks for watching, folks, and we'll see you next time. Bye.